Well, we said New Year, same us. You can't call us liars now. Let's get after it.
What are you talking about?
All right. Well, welcome back after our 2-year hiatus. 2 weeks. Sorry. God
2 years.
damn.
It felt like 2
What
years.
yeah,
let me
it
tell
felt
ya.
like 2 years. As you can tell, Austin's still a little sick.
Yeah,
and,
just a little bit.
I still got the sniffles a little bit, so we're still this winter. We're not saying Mother Nature has hands, but it's beating my ass right now.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I was originally gonna have an episode out last week for us. Like I was gonna do the get to know you thing for the host, but I'm like, I started doing it. I'm like, I need somebody here to like propel the
Right.
conversation forward.
Right.
It just was not working.
Oh man.
I should have kept the video. That probably would have been funny to have as like extras.
Yeah.
But I decided to delete it. I'm like, this is too bad. My voice didn't sound this bad, which is weird. It gets worse, then better, then worse. But it's slowly but surely, I think, finally coming back.
That's good. That's good. I don't lose my voice when I get sick. I just
Well, neither do I usually.
shut down.
It's a matter of that wasn't even planned. That's what it is. Coughing like that for 4 days straight is going to destroy your voice.
Yeah.
And then working at a job where you have to talk to people, yeah, it really takes a toll more than you think.
Man, this is gonna fuck you up today, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, I guess this is to preface. Besides not just last week, that's the reason that we missed last week, but the week before that, I originally had an episode of the Nate Free podcast planned out, because Nate had some you said it was family issues, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He had some issues come up, so I was gonna have something, but my guy fell out, and again, I didn't want to do anything on my own. So that's where we've been the past 2 weeks, sick and shit falling through. But
Because
yeah.
it feels like you're giving a deposition when you're recording by yourself.
Yeah, it's weird. It is unnatural. I don't understand how the vloggers do it,
Yeah, I don't get it either.
but we'll muscle through it. Hopefully we'll get at least maybe 45 videos out this year if we're lucky.
Yeah. 45 is a good goal.
Yeah.
We got 20.
Last year.
20.
Oh yeah. That's right. 21 was the half-hour long extravaganza that was.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
We go from an hour and a half to half hour.
Yeah, well, we'll be a little bit longer this week.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, depending on Austin's voice and my stomach ability to, I've been shitting a lot recently.
Yeah,
and-
I get here and he's just he's like, oh, I shit here after I already walked into a wall of just sewer.
I should have turned the fan on, granted, like,
Yeah, you've
while
turned it
I was
on
in the
while I was
bathroom.
walking down the stairs.
I didn't even turn it on while I was in the
What
bathroom.
does that do? So yeah, that was fun to walk into.
I walked past it. I could smell it from the top of the stairs, and I walked down the stairs and turned the fan on.
Yeah,
And I thought that
trying
would
to be
help.
slick about it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm walking down with all the gear. I'm like, ah.
Oh, man.
But
Well,
yeah.
our topic for this week is actually what we wanted to talk about 2 weeks ago. And we
Yeah.
wanted to wrap up the decade.
Yeah, it was. I saw this on I think it was Rhett and Link's podcast, Ear Biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
They're like their top 10 moments from from the last decade, or it might have been 2019, whatever. And I thought that'd be cool, but I wanted to do top 3, top 5, whatever of certain categories for the past decade. And I feel like doing a top 10 for the entire decade of just moments would be damn near impossible, at least for me. I barely remember what happened the past 10 minutes, let alone the past 10 years,
Right.
So, I mean, the first thing that came to mind was, like, the top 3 albums of the decade, if you were to choose. And the one thing I wanted to say, I think I told you in the text, was we're not going to have the same albums that we did on our top 10 albums of all time, just because that would be redundant, So... Well, we can have it as honorable mentions, but if we were to go in depth, I feel like it'd be redundant to go in depth on the record again,
Yeah, I don't know if I still have my top 10 albums here from the earlier. Let me see if I can find it.
I don't have it on my phone, but then again, I don't have my phone with me anyway, so.
I do. All right,
Yeah.
I know which ones I can't use
Okay.
then.
So, your number 3 album of the past decade.
It's gonna be Monster.
Yeah,
by Eminem. Yeah,
it was a good choice.
I wasn't really a big fan of the album when it came out, but now listening to it now, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking
Yeah,
like,
it's
what's this?
yeah.
And it's really underrated if you think about it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I was like. That's why I was surprised. I'm surprised you chose that as your top, number 3. That's a good album.
Thank you.
My number 3 would be. Thing is, obviously, I can't choose Paramore's newest album because that was on my top 10 of all time. So I'm gonna choose Brand New Eyes from Paramore because those two are like my top 2 Paramore albums, and that one just hits. I think it was 2011 it came out. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain it was 2011 that it came out. So yeah, that's my number 3.
Okay, what's your number 2?
My number 2 would have to be When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? From Billie Eilish.
Okay.
That was a really good album. It was the first album from last year that I sat down and actually listened to from start to finish with just my headphones on, me like in my room doing nothing, like right when it dropped.
Right.
Which, did you hear Haley Williams' new single?
No, I did not.
I'm not a fan.
No?
Love Haley Williams, but I'm not a fan of that single. I recommend listening to it if you guys like Paramore and Haley Williams, but I just personally was not a fan.
My number 2 is going to be Damn by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, that was good. I was considering that. It really was.
It was a toss-up between that and my number 1 for my number 2 spot.
Okay, yeah.
So
I actually have Damn on the limited edition clear vinyl that was hand numbered.
Really?
Yeah, I still have that in my little collection.
So when the album came out, I listened to that album all the way through so many times that I literally ruined it for myself up until about this year.
Yeah.
So that album came out, what, 2016?
2016, 2017.
So for about 3 to 4 years, I could not listen to that album or
Really?
any song from that album
That's
at all.
crazy.
Or like at one point, it was just
It was
no Kendrick.
2017. It was 2017 because it was my senior year.
So for 3 years, I could not listen to that song at all.
That's impressive.
Whatsoever. Anything from that album. And now it's like, this is one of the greatest albums I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I like the two opposite directions we're taking too. And then go ahead with your number 1 then.
To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I wanted to.
It's my number 1 album.
But that was on my top 10 of all time.
Dude, that is the greatest album in the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
If
it wasn't on my top 10
It's
list
so-
ever, I would have had it on my list.
It's literally like, it makes you feel like if you close your eyes and listen to it, you're like watching a movie at some point.
Oh,
at
absolutely.
One point.
It
know?
was very, very, very good.
And the album artwork is amazing. There's so many songs in there that you could just, word for word, and that are, the meaning is still applicable today as it was written back then too. It was just top notch.
Yep. My number 1, I was kind of torn because the reason I listed this one was purely because of how much I listened to it over the past year alone. It would be Attitude City from Ninja Sex Party.
Okay.
I listened to the album a lot leading up to the first concert I saw from them. Like, I listened to their whole discography, but that album in particular was really, really like the one that stuck with me a lot. And then after that, every day that I would go donate plasma during the remodel I was doing, and like the time before and after that, so that probably 6-month span, I would just listen to the Ninja Sex Party discography on the way there and on the way back. It's good driving music. It's just like it was something in my head. I know every lyric to every song on that album, like without hesitation, 90% of the time. It's like you hear me in the car and I'm going along with it beat for beat. It's something that I listened to so much that it's just ingrained in my head, and it's my favorite, not including obviously the ones that were on my top 10 of all time.
Right.
Man, my voice is fucked.
Yeah. This episode might be shorter than we.
I can be fine. I'll be fine.
You'll
It's just a matter of if they're okay with listening to it.
Well, it might be shorter for you than it will be for us.
Watch time might be down, but we'll see. So yeah. Now this one I didn't know if you would have an opinion on, but top video games of the past decade.
So I have a decent opinion on them. I don't have an in-depth,
Mine's a real basic bitch answer for my number 1.
So are mine.
For sure.
Mine are real quick rundown.
Yeah.
So why don't you go your 3, 2? 3.
Well, I'll do 3 first. 3 is NHL 14. Best of the NHL franchise, in my personal opinion, from the past 20 years.
Okay.
I love that game.
My number 3 is going to be Madden 12. It was my
a good one.
favorite. It had the best franchise mode, and it also was one of the best years in the NFL. I think when it came to Madden rosters, it had some of the most superstars and like some of the most potential Hall of Famers.
Yep.
And it was like the year that I really got good at Madden was Madden 12.
Madden 25 was good.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Madden 25. I guess it depends on the console you played on too.
360 version was not so
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. When you played on Xbox One, because I think that was one of the first.
Yeah, it was
played
more
on
made for
Xbox One?
PS3.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But
At least Madden 25 was.
yeah, I actually have to say I'm gonna put NHL 14 on my two because my number 3 I don't feel like I could reasonably say I haven't played it enough, but NCAA 14.
Okay.
I mean
Okay.
that was such a good game. Like I started replaying it again. What was it? 6 months ago?
Yeah.
And it's good. It's all around good.
So my number 2 is MLB 2K12.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.
Which one was who was on the cover of that one? Because I think I played that one.
I think
too.
that was Verlander. Oh no, that was 2K17.
Well, I haven't played any of the 2K games past 2011. 11 was the last one I played.
I think 11 was David Price.
I don't know. That might have been Strasburg. Which one was the one with the Nationals pitcher on it? I don't remember. Because I started playing the show when I started playing baseball again, and that was. Oh, do you remember
2K11 had Roy Halladay on it.
Yeah, that's who it was.
2K13 was David Price. That's the
Yeah.
last one I played.
Do you remember? This is before the show started. Do you remember MLB Live?
Yeah.
I played MLB Live 2005 with Albert Pujols on the cover so much when I was a kid with my dad. He would absolutely obliterate me in it, but it was so much fun. That game was so good. Too bad that's not from the 2010s.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go number 1.
Yeah, go with your number
So
one.
my number 1, it was really hard to decide. I'm gonna go number 1 and an honorable mention real quick. My number 1 is actually your number 2. Is my number 1 top game of the decade is NCAA 14.
Yeah, really.
Fucking amazing game, and they need to bring NCAA football back, please.
Yeah, I think they will soon.
Please bring it back. But my honorable mention, you can't forget about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I didn't know what year that came out, but that'd be in like number 6.
2012.
Yeah, that would be number 6 for me.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude, 2000 Modern Warfare 2, it was ridiculous.
Black Ops 2 would be like 11 for me.
Black Ops 1 is 4.
I prefer Black Ops 2 over 1.
I prefer Black Ops 3 over 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I actually just bought Black Ops 4 for like $5 from the GameStop that's closing down.
Really?
I was like, yeah, fuck it, it's $5. I got Red Dead 2.
my
as
buddy,
well. Red Dead Redemption. I think I might have to replace
Left 4 Dead. How are we forgetting about
I mean,
those?
yeah, I'm saying Left 4 Dead, not Left 4 Dead 2 because I haven't played it yet, but Left 4 Dead and GTA 5.
Oh, I just got GTA 5 again.
it's so
Oh,
good.
I played the story
man.
mode through and like
Man, if we had a top 5, I would have to add those two.
yeah,
Both of those Rockstar
Yeah,
games.
it's so hard to pick video
Yeah.
games, especially as nerds. Like
Well, number 1 for me wasn't hard at all. The Last of Us.
I've never played that.
It's such a basic bitch answer, but god damn it, there's a reason it won 240 Game of the Year awards when it came out. Yeah. It was such a great game.
What?
Yeah, it's so good. I want to say it was 243, but god damn it, is it great. Wow. Voice is going. But yeah, Last of Us, so good. One of these days, we could start a gaming channel and just do that, play the remastered version.
Oh my god.
And The Last of Us 2 is coming out. God damn it, I hope it's the best game of 2020.
Really?
Just start off the 2020s. Start off the decade strong.
The only game I'm excited, the only 3 games I'm excited for in this year are the new Madden, the new 2K, NBA 2K. More or less, not 2K as much, but I still get it to play for a while. And Cyberpunk 2077.
I have no idea.
Oh, it's so good. It looks so good.
I was talking with one of the chicks at work, and I was talking about how we might have to take a break so I can get some water. Let's cut to a break real quick. I need water.
And now we're back. Austin
we're
had
back.
to get a little drink to wet his whistle,
Wet my whistle.
so he sounds less of a.
Less of a fucking goober.
Well, I wouldn't say goober. So, moving on with our top of the decade.
Oh no, I was gonna say, sorry, I was in the middle of a story. God, I was talking with a chick at work about there were like 3 games that I was super hyped for, like ever. I've only ever been hyped for 3 games, 2 of which I've been disappointed, one of which it met my expectations. The one that met my expectations was The Last of Us. That's the reason I brought it up.
Right.
The 2 that disappointed me the most was Alien Isolation. I was super disappointed because I got super hyped for it. And then the other one that I got hyped for was The Last of Us 2. And the reason I'm disappointed by that already without the game being out
It's because
is
they pushed it back.
there have been like 6 times where they're like, oh, official release date. And it's now official that it's coming out in May when I thought it was coming out in February and March, you know? So that's upsetting. But yeah, so on with the decade. Did you want to do movies next?
Let's do life moments. Oh, shit.
God.
Let's do life moments in general real
Okay.
quick.
I got a couple.
I got 2, 3 here real quick.
Okay. Did you want to start or did you want me to start?
You could start.
Mine, I'm going to go first with I'm gonna go with transferring to the new store. When I moved, when I decided to transfer away from the store that I was working at before to transfer to the Target I work at now. Just because I was so miserable at that point, I just like every time I would go into work, I felt like garbage. I just felt terrible. It was to the point where I was pretty much depressed. Like every time I would go in, and that's not even a like exaggeration. It was bad. The bosses sucked, and the people around just didn't want to be at work.
Right.
So it brought everybody else's morale down to the point where everybody just didn't even really like each other all that much. We just dealt with each other because, you know, we work together. May as well try and make things fun. But yeah, it was trash. So transferring over and meeting the people that I work with now, and the people who are gone, who have just come in, all that, it's made a huge difference in terms of my mental health.
Right.
So I that's just one of the biggest things for me from the past, you know, decade, because, you know, everything else was school related, you know, like that. So yeah, that's my number 3.
My number 3 is going to Colorado after high school. I swear I fell in love with the state, and just like it was just fucking fun, dude. It was so fun.
I could imagine. See, my voice is pretty much back now. There it goes. Yeah, no, that's the problem is I didn't travel a lot during the really ever. I don't travel. I just wish that it was a little bit more, not necessarily of an option, because I've always had the option to travel. It's just I never had the desire to.
Right.
You know? God damn it. Go ahead with your number 2.
My number 2 would have been getting my license in my first car. Happened in 2016 as well, so that was pretty cool. It gave me like the ability, you know, obviously the ability to drive, and I had my license for the first time, you know, so
Yeah.
I could literally go wherever, whenever.
That's a good one. So I think this one is probably should be number 1 given the context, but just for what the other 2 have meant, because my number 1 is a tie for first, but the second one was starting the podcast.
Yeah.
I was gonna put that at 1, but just the other 2, my number 1, those 2 are like, those were like super big, and this is such a young thing.
Right.
But this helped me in terms of learning how social media works, learning how much effort it takes to actually make a YouTube channel work. And I'm still learning. I'm still, you know, trying to get there. I know I'm not fully there yet, but it's definitely taught me a lot in terms of what, like how this whole thing works, you know? So that's why it's my number 2. Why it's still so high, because it is such a big thing. But my number 1 does kind of trump this, just for the time being at least. So go ahead with your number 2.
My number 2 is, you mean my number 1? My number 2 was getting my license.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, license.
So real
go with
quick,
your number 1.
my number 2 was, I couldn't decide if it was getting my license or starting the podcast, but my number 1 was an obvious choice for me. It was meeting and starting to date Maria, Like that was fucking awesome. It's been awesome. You know, it's on February will be 3 years, and it's. I've fucked up a lot, and she's been there through it all. So like, you know, I'm very lucky to still have her today as the day of this recording.
So far.
Yeah,
That's a good one. I don't have anything in terms of that to really match because I'm a single boy. But no, my number one is a tie between starting to play hockey again and deciding to go to recording school, like audio engineering school, instead of going to college. Mainly because I wanted to go to college to be an engineer, a computer engineer, and I had, you know, all the stuff that I could set up, all these pathways to go, supported my parents no matter what, that which helped in choosing to go into audio engineering. It's just the going from wanting to be a real engineer. Well, I'm gonna put real engineer in quotes because obviously that's a loose term,
right.
but going from having something that has like a set idea of what the job is supposed to be, and where you can go from that job to going to something that's so based on what the market demands of you, which of course is with any job, but it's in a certain way with musicians and, you know, a trade like that. Having that support and everything helped a lot from my parents and friends and all that stuff, but actually making that choice to jump forward, go to school, start a pretty much apprenticeship learning school, whatever the hell you want to call it. It was a huge deal for me. It's what helped me get, you know, to where I am now in terms of podcast, in terms of how I'm dealing with my job, stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, that's where I stand there. And then the hockey thing, obviously, because it reignited my love of, you know, the sport in general. It's helped me lose a lot of weight within just the past year. It's helped my mental health just as much as being an audio engineer, moving jobs.
Right.
It's just like when they say you work out, it helps you keep a better headspace. Same thing with hockey. It's helped me keep a better headspace, helped me keep going in terms of actually having a reason to get up out of bed on my days off. Whether it's, you know, hockey or just skating alone. When I'm off on my Mondays before I start working on, you know, stuff for the podcast or stuff for clients, it makes me not sleep in until noon and waste one of my days off, you know?
I mean, I sleep until noon and I'm still tired.
Well, I'm not tired. My body is on a natural clock where I wake up at least by 7 o'clock every day.
Yeah, see, but my body's on a natural clock where it's like you stay up till 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning sometimes, just because my body says so, and it sucks.
Yeah,
but that's why I sleep till noon.
Yeah,
I gotta get that changed. It's working at the club that does that to me.
Oh, absolutely. I can imagine.
Moving
do you like
on.
my new shirt?
I do. It's pretty. It's blue collar.
Yeah, right. It's the Misfits, the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's on the back. It's Scuff Nation or United Scuff Nation, something like that.
Huh.
They're a huge inspiration for like my not necessarily comedy because I don't tell a lot of jokes, but like my skit based kind of humor and what I find funny, what I kind of learned off of is what I got from these guys. Which I'm sure if you guys watch them, you can tell that I'm just a discount version of it. But yeah, like it's good.
So moving on, we're going to go over our top 3 movies of the decade.
Top 3 movies.
My number 3 movie of the last 10 years is Avengers Infinity War.
Interesting.
I think that it set the base for what is yet to come in the MCU. It was one of the most hyped movies of the last 10 years.
Yep.
It set up the ability for the next movie to make some of the most money a movie has ever made. And not only that, it fulfilled the childhood dreams of multiple people of seeing their, action heroes on screen. And, all of them together in one final battle against, whatever.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like they always say, it's the most ambitious crossover in movie history. Kind of.
Right,
It was true.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see. I'm not a Marvel fan, but I understand what the movie did for people. It was cool. My number 3. I didn't get to talk about this because we didn't do an episode after I watched it, but Joker.
Okay.
Joker was very good. I didn't have a lot of expectations going into it, really at all. But I just when I watched it, I knew that Joaquin Phoenix would do a great job because he's a fucking great actor.
Have you seen him in Walk the Line?
Yes,
So
he is,
good.
Oh, so good.
And his brother, God rest his soul, or whatever sentient being you believe in, was River Phoenix, who was also an amazing actor. Who actually, Joaquin is younger than River. I didn't know if you knew
didn't know
that.
that,
Yeah,
no.
about 7 years younger than River.
Wow,
Who?
that's good to know.
I think River died in like '83, but like
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, but I was super impressed by Joker as a whole. I thought it was a really good movie.
I didn't think it was good until I watched it the second time.
See, that's why I heard a lot of people talk about. I feel like that might be like I very rarely give things more than a 7 out of 10. Like just in general.
The first time I went in there on like the comic book storyline basis kind of thing.
See, I don't care about that. I never cared
And
about
then the
that.
second time I went in there just to watch it as a moviegoer, and I was like, this is fucking great.
Exactly.
But it's not in my top 3 of the decade.
No, it might not be in a lot of people's top 3 in the decade, but then again, here's the difference. I don't watch a lot of movies, and I'm also more partial to DC than I am Marvel.
I see.
So that's where that difference lies. So go ahead with your number 2.
My number 2 was Denzel Washington's Flight. It was a movie about him being an alcoholic pilot, and the plane's going down, and he's got to land it. And at one point, he flips the plane, so it's belly up, and he lands it like I think he lands it either belly up. Oh no, he rotates it so it's belly up to go over a church, and then he rotates it again to land it. And this entire time, he was fucked up on alcohol and coke. And like,
Oh yeah, that's right. I know.
yeah, and they were trying to like figure out what's going on, stuff like that. And he was like a hero, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm not." Whatever. It's great movie, great cinematography, one of
It
the
was
best
really well
movies.
shot.
Yeah, one of the best movies I've ever seen, and one of the best movies Denzel's ever done. I think.
Yeah. that's
Denzel, I'm a huge Denzel Washington fan.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. I've only watched it once, so I don't have a great memory of it. But
Well, I've
that's a
watched
good-
that movie
that's a
like
really good
8
movie.
times.
I don't know. The problem is that I had with these movies is since I don't watch a lot of movies, I just have snippets of a lot of movies in my head.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of movies either. I've been watching a lot recently, but like
I mean, that's the problem. Is like
older movies I've been watching like
Yeah,
the last
exactly.
couple.
I think like the problem is that I have movies like I could say easily Inception is really good.
Never seen it.
Inception's really good. What's the one with Matthew McConaughey with it's the space movie?
Interstellar.
Interstellar. That's a great movie. It sounds so great. I can't even remember the fucking
Yeah.
name.
That was a good movie.
No, that was a great movie. But like Hacksaw Ridge, I only remember parts of.
Never saw that.
That's a great movie. I just
Is that the one with Andrew Garfield?
Yes.
Where he's like the pastor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. But I mean the problem is that. Do you know when The Dark Knight came out? That was 2009, wasn't it?
Ooh, 2008, Bob.
Fuck. I was gonna say that might be my number 1 then.
You can do
Shit.
Dark Knight Rises. Came out in
I'm not a
2012.
fan of that one.
What?
No,
That's a
I'm
good
not
one.
fan. But that's my problem is that I don't have a definitive one too, because I remember so many good clips of good movies, but I don't watch enough movies to definitively say. I just know that the only one that I can solidify would be the Joker because it's so
Yeah.
fresh in my memory. That's the one. That was the only one I had issues with, for like my top 3 of the decade.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you're just gonna leave it at Joker?
I'm gonna leave it at Joker at 3, and then like a smattering of movies. I'll have like a list in the description or something.
Okay.
Because I can only remember a couple.
So my number. Did I say my number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flight. My number 1 movie of the decade was End of Watch.
I don't think I've watched that.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal and I forgot the other guy. He was in Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd.
No, Michael Pena.
Oh, Michael Pena. I
Um,
was like, I don't remember Paul Rudd being in
and
there.
David Harbour's in it as well.
I love David Harbour.
And it's about 2 LAPD cops. It's shot like basically like he's shooting a documentary style because he's doing it like for his film class. So it's kind of all shot like that. And it's about these 2 cops who stumble upon this like cartel drop, and they ended up getting like marked by the cartel for death, and the final battle scene is like them in a, excuse me, Chinese people, in a final gun battle with like cartel members, and one of the cops gets shot and dies, and there's an alternate ending where both cops get shot and die, and like I saw one of the cops, like, I mean, in the movie when you watch it for the first time, it's really emotional. They make it, pull at your heartstrings, and I kind of shed a tear a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that I haven't watched it, but I've heard good things. So yeah, that's our top 3 movies. So now let's do here. Go ahead and say Seg.
Seg.
Top
right.
3 guests of the year. We'll do ours. And then we'll do the fans.
Okay. All right.
So do your number 3.
My number 3 guest of the year was Kevin when he first came on, because he had no idea what he was walking into.
That was fun.
And
we really didn't even know by that point. That was only 6 episodes in.
Yeah, and we had no idea what we were doing. He was unprepared, but we were over-prepared.
Yep.
And it was just a mess of an episode, and it was just a fun mess of an episode.
I wish that we had like a proper recording
Yeah.
of it. That's what sucks. That I still have the recording that you sent me from your phone. Like I still have all 3 of our recordings. It's just that there's such terrible sound quality.
So bad, yeah.
I could probably edit it together and make something out of it, but like better than the previous.
Maybe
episode.
that'll be a special release if you guys want
We'll
it.
see.
They probably don't.
My number 3 would be. I'm gonna agree with Kevin actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Kevin. Kevin was fun.
Okay.
Both times, specifically the first one, but both times he was fun. So yeah, that's that. I agree.
My number 2 guest is actually Andrew,
Oh yeah,
because he came on, and
super last minute. Like
it's super last
I didn't
minute.
even tell you before he came on.
It was at the first day we introduced the hot seat.
Yep.
And that was the only time the hot seats really worked.
Yep.
Because it was just so off the cuff, and
And you came up with such perfect questions, and it was like
and the thing is, I was coming up with them as I was going.
Yeah, exactly. Which that was the problem that I always had, is I couldn't come up with them as I went.
Yeah.
And that's always that. I'm good at improv when I have a setup, but if I don't have a setup, I'm trash.
Mm-hmm.
But you were perfect, like spot on every question. It fit him so well, and that's why he's my number 2 as well.
Okay. Who is your number 1?
Damien.
Damien?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is
He's
that?
my boy. He just both times that he's been on the show, I would have picked Andrew, but I feel like my bias would have been showing anyway, because I also had an episode with just me and him. But he was the one who helped me introduce the Nate Free podcast.
Okay.
He was the first person that, besides the first episode with Danny Lozano, that I could talk music and audio without, just talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
So that was
I'll
fun.
learn. Sometimes it'll
Yeah.
become like a rubber ball and it'll bounce back.
Yeah. And then I made a hockey buddy out of him.
Yeah.
We still have yet to go play hockey, but I still have that as an option. Yeah.
He's good.
It's fun. So that's why he's my number 1.
I'm gonna show my bias here, because my number 1 guest is the main reason that I like to think the main reason that this all got started is my girlfriend Maria.
Mm-hmm.
She, when I proposed the idea to her of me starting a
proposed?
podcast. No, not yet. Not yet. When I came to her with the idea of starting a podcast, she was 100% behind it, and she's been nothing but supportive since then. And for that, I thank her. And it was very hard for me to decide my number 1 guest of the year, but it was at the same time very easy.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the fans. This is a quick rundown
Of the
voting. So we initially had 2 rounds of voting. Okay, we had 1 round of voting, and that first round of voting got so fucking competitive so fast for 3 people.
Yeah.
And those 3 people were, at first it started off, it was a fight between Kevin, Dan, Farina, and Maria to pick up votes. Then Lozano came out of nowhere and got all these fucking first place votes, and then it just the rankings kept changing. Every 20 minutes something would happen with the rankings, and eventually it came down to a 3-way tie between, who was it? It was
Maria, Dan Farina, and was it Kevin?
I
I
think.
want to say it was Kevin. Could be wrong.
Let me
Shit.
check the Twitter.
He's got to check. Hold on. I honestly don't remember. I want to say I know it was definitely Maria and Dan Farina.
Yeah. I'm
But-
sorry who the third person was.
Oh no.
It was Lozano.
It was-
Okay, so
okay.
Lozano, Maria, and Dan Farina all tied for first at the end of the first round of voting. So I had to have a second round of voting. And in that second round of voting, this person who is about to receive this phone call got all votes. Nobody else got any votes. And this person got... I'm going to show Austin because it's insane. In the first...
So professional.
Oh, no, I deleted all the voting emails. Anyway.
Such professional.
So in the second round of voting, within the first 20 minutes of me announcing the second round, this person got 34 votes.
Jesus
34.
fucking
That's
Christ.
34 emails I had to read and respond to.
Jesus.
I'm going to get them on the phone now, and we're going to congratulate them, and you guys are going to be a part of this. Let's see if they pick up the phone. Hello, sir.
You need to hold it up to the mic.
Welcome. You're on the episode with us. We're calling to congratulate you, Mr. Daniel Fatman Farina. Actually, hold on. Hold on. It's time! Introducing the 2019 Floor Chapstick Podcast Guest of the Year, Mr. Daniel Fatman Farina. Congratulations, Danny. You are the 2019 Guest of the Year.
Thank you. It's a great honor to have won this award. I still do not know how that was possible. I guess everyone else needs to step up their game for next time. And I promise you, and I mean I promise you, I will be on your podcast 42 times in the next 43 days.
All right. Well, we earlier in the podcast said we're going to try and get out 45 episodes this year. So I don't know how that's going to work with us, but we'll try and figure that out.
We'll make it work.
Thank you for...
You will have 3, and I repeat, 3 podcasts without me in it. That's it.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
this one counts as one of them.
does this one count as one of them?
I guess we'll wait and see.
Shit.
All right. Well, Danny, I'm gonna call you once we get off the air to organize your victory rewards and stuff like that. So we'll talk to you later, bud.
Okay, I just have one request I'd like to make on air right now.
What is that?
I would like to eat grapes off of Austin's naked body.
All right. That's all right. Goodbye.
Well,
Goodbye.
Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right, that turned
that's why
into
we don't
exactly
call
what
my
you'd
friends on the
expect.
podcast. So,
Okay.
as you see, Dan won. If you've made it to this point in the episode, congratulations. If you're only watching the episode for this point, you've had to stick around the entire episode to watch this to this point because we're not going to tell you where the Guest of the Year part is in the episode because we want all the views we can get. So continue to watch the episode because at the end of the episode, we have a little special message. We'll have a little special message from Dan himself. A little bit more of a victory speech, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
But first, another break.
another break.
All
And-
right.
all right. Whoa,
Wow.
whoa. Whoa,
Hi.
careful. Talk over me again. I'll hop in your lap and we'll be in a relationship
Fucking-
before you know it.
hello.
That's what I've started saying to people.
I mean, I'm
'Cause it
not
confuses the shit out of them.
complaining. I'm not complaining by any means.
It confuses the shit out of them. They'll like talk some shit. I'll be like, "What'd you say? Shut the fuck up before I hop in your lap and we'll be in a relationship before you know it." And they'll be like, "What the fuck?"
Again, I'm not complaining.
I'll be like, "I'll hop in your lap right now. Like, let's go. You want me to hop in your lap?"
Get a little bit of ooh.
No. All right. Moving on here.
All right, we got 20 minutes to fill on this episode. What are we gonna do, Nathan?
I don't know, dude. Oh, so I recently, I don't know, I posted on Facebook. I didn't post on Twitter or Instagram, but I got back on stage recently for the first time
Yes.
since November.
I was super happy to hear that.
And it was fucking terrifying. But the thing is, I went up there I went to the show and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch, see if I feel motivated. And when the host was up there, she was just getting talked over the entire time, and I was, oh my god, I got the hiccup. Sorry. I was able to hear some of her jokes, and I thought of some tags, and some witty remarks that I could use after, that I could use to call back to her joke, and also some shit I could use to roast the fucking people who were talking over her. So I signed up. I went up sixth, and I wrote one of the jokes I used. I wrote on my way to the show, and I was like, "This is gonna be booty. I'm just gonna work it out." And it the way I said it and the way the way I wrote it, and it fucking killed. It was very it was good. I liked it. It made me,
G-U-D good.
I'm not gonna tell you guys. You guys gotta come and pay attention to my Facebook to find out. Yeah, I'll make you come.
Good job, Nate. No, I when you told me that you were starting to do shows again, I was super happy. Because I knew that was something that we've talked about before, both on the show and off the show, that you really wanted to get back into.
Oh, yeah.
So it's cool to see that you're back on the horse, But yeah, one thing that I feel like we should add, add, because during that last break, if you were an audio listener on Spotify, you may notice, because you're on Spotify, that this is on Spotify. How many times can I fit Spotify in a sentence?
Yeah.
That's how many. But yeah, if you guys are on YouTube and not Spotify, Anchor is the ad that you would have heard if you were on Spotify. But Anchor, this isn't an ad read for them. This is just to let you guys know that this is how we got, to streaming everywhere that we're on except for YouTube.
On Spotify.
I think that's the only thing we're on right now.
Yeah, we're only on
Apple. Well, I try getting us on Apple Music. I just got to figure out if it's because I'm stupid or what. But yeah.
It's the latter.
Yeah. But if you guys have a podcast, this is just genuinely, this isn't the scripted one that you would hear for the audio listeners only. But seriously, it's super nice. I mean,
oh yeah, it's great.
It got us on the Spotify. Something that it was a pain in the ass for us to do before, but now literally every episode is on there. So if you guys want to re-listen to or re-watch an episode, just go straight onto Spotify. Most of the ads are at the beginning of the episode for the podcast now, but this one, it just happened to be in the middle because I found the right time for it. But yeah, it was super easy, and it finally got us to that next step of the podcast where, it actually seems like we're going somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was super cool when I found that, which I also found through Rhett and Link Ear Biscuits.
Really?
I think the same episode where they did their top 10 moments of the year. So yeah, it was cool to find.
One of the things that's been bothering me is this winter, it's drying out the inside of my nose, and it's getting all cracked and bloody.
The dryness,
and it's just so annoying. Because, I can't breathe at times out of my nostril and my nose. Sorry. And, my septum's already deviated from when I had my nose broken a few years ago. I never got it fixed. So, naturally, I already have trouble breathing out of one of my nostrils. Yeah. And then when that nostril's clogged and I can't breathe out of it, it, fucking freaks me out. Because I hate being only able to breathe out of one nostril. Because when you only breathe out of one nostril, you can feel that, you can feel it. Yeah. And it bugs the shit out of me.
It's so unnatural to feel. So I absolutely get that. You nasty fuck.
Oh, speaking of farting on air, did you see that Wendy Williams let fucking stank ass fart rip? Dude, she was talking and she just stopped mid sentence and she was like, he could have been arrested. Yeah. And I was like, you definitely heard it. I also nailed that sound because that's exactly how it came out. It sounded like one of those you're creaking open a door in a horror movie. Yeah.
That was it. You sent that to me on, I think it was Twitter or whatever, and I was watching at work, and I'm just sitting there in the break room, I'm laughing.
Yeah, I was like, oh my
God. Oh, you need to listen to this. So I take out my headphones and start playing, and they're looking like, is that a fart? I didn't say what it was. I just had them listen. They're like, did she fart? I'm like, yeah. It was the most excited I've been for another person farting. It was so funny.
And it's funny because a couple weeks or it was days before that, she just got in trouble for making fun of Joaquin Phoenix's cleft lip.
Really?
She is the worst television personality on earth, dude.
She's just so annoying.
She's horrible.
I don't watch her simply because I hate her fucking voice on her face.
Look, you need to get on your knees sometimes and suckers pain. Like, I'm Wendy Williams. I look like a horse. No, she looks like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Doesn't she? Like, her mouth and her chin look like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
And her face looks like what you think, like, when they drew, like, the gray aliens, you know, with, like, the round,
Yeah.
you know, the oval-shaped head. Her head looks like an upside-down teardrop. And then, like, her mouth and her jaw, like, from her bridge of her nose up is, like, an upside-down teardrop base. And then, like, from her bridge down, it looks like... What did I say?
The alien?
No, before that.
I wasn't listening.
I gotta stop talking shit about Wendy Williams.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is just a Wendy Williams roast session that no one asked for. You saw the picture on Instagram on my phone case, right?
Yeah.
So I bought a new one, the exact same one. But if you guys haven't seen the repercussions of bringing your phone to open hockey and leaving it alone for a minute, check out my Instagram. So I was
Linked in the description.
Yeah, links are always in the description, all that good shit. Both to his, mine, the shows, all that. But I brought my phone with to open hockey because I knew it would essentially be a stick and puck, which I have a rant about that too. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. No one's gonna notice. No one's gonna care if I have my phone. We're just hanging out. We're just practicing our skills. So I check my phone, do whatever. I'm at the net, and I said I need to go grab a drink of water. Left my water bottle over by the bench. So I skate from the net to the bench. Well, the guy who's there, who I've played with, I can't even count how many times over the past year. I know him fairly well, at least in terms of that context. He goes and takes a shot. I'm pretty sure it was a slap shot. Fucking hits straight into the phone, pops the phone off the net, lands corner first into the ice, and it breaks the case. It's an aluminum case, strong, heavy aluminum case, and it cracks it on the side. Never seen it happen before like that, but only like a compound fracture or stress fracture pretty much on the screen. Works perfectly fine. Don't need a new phone.
Right.
Didn't break any of the innards, but
the innards.
Impressive, yeah. Yeah, I didn't break any of the innards.
Oh my god, with that hair and that fucking voice, Jesus Christ.
Hey, honey, how you doing? But and I got a quick rant for stick and pucks. So I went to a proper stick and puck,
which
is just a bunch of guys throwing on their gear, pucks, sticks, no game, no expectation of playing. If there's a goalie, great, you can shoot, you can have the goalie practice, whatever.
It's just a shoot around.
It is literally a shoot around as if you were going to a game and they were warming up.
Yeah.
It's just that. So, guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey man, do you really need all those pads on? It's just a stick and puck." Now, mind you, I am a goaltender. If you didn't know that, may not look it. I may not be the size and shape of a prototypical goalie. I don't look like Corey Crawford. I look like I ate Corey Crawford.
He looks like Corey Crawford ate Corey Crawford twice.
Yeah, I'm in net. I am taking fuck it. The way I described it to my friends and family is like, listen here, Kevin. When if I don't decide not to wear my pants,
we have a friend named Kevin. Let's call him Alfred.
Kevin. If I go down into a butterfly and I'm not wearing my pants, your famous 60-mile-an-hour slap shot that gets a whole 2 feet off the fucking ice, if that shit hits me where I'm not wearing a pad, that shit's still gonna hurt. You ain't Zdeno Chara, but guess what? Zdeno Chara's fucking looking at me is gonna hurt if I don't have the goddamn pants on. So yes, as a goaltender, I cannot afford to not wear my gear. This is for anyone. This is for any of those Kevins out there that are like that. I would say Kyle, but his name is Kevin. So I'm going to use his real name because he doesn't watch the show. He doesn't even know who I am really outside of work. I mean, outside of hockey.
You should tell him to watch the show.
Yeah, I should. Fuck you, Kevin. Yes, I need to wear my chest protector when I'm playing hockey. You don't have to wear your shoulder pads because it's non-contact. I have to wear my chest and arm protector because if I take a shot to the chest, I'm not going to be able to breathe.
Sounds like Kevin's sabitch.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Sabitch.
So yeah, that's my rant on that. Don't ask the goalie if he has to wear all his pads. Trust me, if I could skate around in my jeans and a sweater, yeah, fuck yeah, I'd do that. I would play with just my blocker, helmet, and trapper if I could. But no, I have to put on. Blocker is the glove, is stick hand. Trapper is the baseball glove. Mask is the thing on my face.
Oh.
If I could play with just those and not have to worry about putting on my pillows, my leg pads, and my chest and arm protector, if I didn't have to worry about putting those on, I wouldn't. If I didn't have to worry about getting a fucking nut ruptured because I didn't wear my cup, I wouldn't worry about it. But I don't feel like having to go to the hospital because you decide that you want to take a slap shot on a net that no one's actually trying to play with. No one is trying to play at a stick and puck. Everybody knows it's a warm-up. It's a shoot-around. It's a hang out and talk with your buddies kind of situation.
Right.
Fuck you, Kevin. I'm stuffy now.
Wow.
You got any rants you want to go on? It seems like it's the rant hour.
I don't have any rants, but I noticed that like Vegas is going excessive for the draft again.
Yeah, I know. You
They're
sent me
bringing
that.
people to the red carpet via. So it's not
Was
the
it red
draft
carpet?
stage.
I thought it was the draft stage.
No, it's the red carpet.
Oh.
So they're coming to the red carpet via boat, and then they're leaving the red carpet via boat, and then the draft stage is right next to the Little Caesars Forum.
Got it.
So it's like
Yeah, it's just so extra for no reason.
right, but they're bringing them by boat on the Bellagio fountains, and like, are you gonna have the fountains going on at the same time? Like,
Probably.
people are gonna get wet. The fuck.
People are gonna what?
You know what's gonna happen is someone's gonna fall into the water, into the pond, like Michael Scott did in the koi pond.
Yeah.
And someone's gonna pull a Jim Halper and not let him or trip him in, or like trip him or not help him, when they're falling. And that person who's gonna pull the Jim Halpert is gonna be good old Roger Goodell.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Did you see that Tony? I think his name's Tony Pearson, former receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. He got snubbed for the Hall of Fame.
No, I didn't see that.
Or Troy Pearson or whatever. He was.
I know who you're talking about.
Huh?
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he got snubbed for the Hall of Fame.
You see, Jeter didn't get his unanimous decision. To go to the
Yeah,
Hall of
someone
Fame?
cheated him by one
Oh,
vote.
Jag off. Fucking probably a Red Sox fan, a sour Red Sox fan.
David
Jag off.
Ortiz.
Yeah, right? Seriously, what the hell?
Dude, have you ever heard David Ortiz try to talk?
Yeah, it's weird.
Hey, get baseball.
Wow, way to make fun of a Latin guy.
I'm
for
not
being
making fun of
Latin.
David Ortiz.
He don't count.
There's a
Well,
difference.
that's certainly what it sounds like you just said. He don't count. He ain't real
Dude, that guy is
people.
a fucking machine. He got shot point blank in the back. It went through him, missed his heart by 3 inches, and he's still walking and alive.
Well, yeah, it didn't kill him because it didn't hit his heart.
I don't know who's harder to understand, 50 Cent or David Ortiz.
I don't know.
Dude,
That's a good one.
If you guys want some good comedy on, like, good content to follow on Instagram, please follow 50 Cent's Instagram. It is funny as fuck.
Is it?
Like, he'll just call people out. Like, I don't know if we can I don't think we can bring it up and, like, put it on the screen here.
I would have to put it in editing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Production.
I don't know if we can because of the YouTube rules and the FCC and stuff and all that. Because, like, I know when we, like, if we're going to play, like, music, we can only play, like, 3 seconds at a time.
Even
or
though
like,
it's not really protected all that well.
I guess it is. Oh, now it is.
I did research in and I've had it before.
Well, you got plenty of podcasts out there now, like Fighter and the Kid King, the Sting.
Sure, but it's a matter of certain permissions. It's not if you're a small like if it were us to do it, we could easily get taken down for me putting that NFL footage in there. What was it 5 episodes ago when we were talking about the NFL report cards?
Yeah.
That 6-second clip.
Speaking of that footage, that play that we showed is the exact reason why the Tennessee Titans beat the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Because they used the same loophole on Bill Belichick, and after the game, Bill Belichick
Not the
was
exact
pissed.
reason, but it definitely helped.
Yeah.
It helped a lot.
I thought the Titans were going to beat the Chiefs, honestly.
I didn't think they would. I was just really hoping they would.
I thought the Packers would do better than they did.
I knew they wouldn't. I've been calling them frauds the entire year. I don't know. You guys might have seen my tweet if you follow me. But I was talking with one of my buddies who's a Packer fan, and it was after the Packers started 7-1.
Uh-huh.
I said, "Don't worry, Packers playoff choke is inevitable." I said, "It hurts seeing the Packers do well, but I know a playoff choke is inevitable." What the fuck happened? A playoff choke again.
Aaron Rodgers
They
is
played
0-3 versus San Francisco in the playoffs.
He is 1-4 in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
That one is when Cutler got
Yeah.
hurt, and they barely beat Caleb Haney.
Yeah.
They won by 1 touchdown off a fat ass Raji's pick 6.
Yeah.
If Caleb Haney didn't throw that pick 6, they were driving. They had momentum in that game. They could have won. Would they have won the Super Bowl? Probably not. But still.
That year that the Packers had James Jones, Jermichael Finley, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson.
Charles Woodson.
No, I'm talking about offense.
Oh.
For the receivers, it was
Okay.
Jermichael Finley at tight end, James Jones, Donald Driver, Jordy Nelson, and Randall Cobb.
And they didn't have a running back.
No, they had.
They never have running backs.
They had Ryan Grant at that time, but
I'm just saying,
that was the greatest offensive attack in NFL history, I think, in the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, definitely within the last 10.
Like that is like I think it was like 2010 to 2012 era of those receivers. Fucking insane, dude.
It was crazy. I that was the part where, and the Bears defense was good at that time too. So
you can't deny that they have good receivers now. Like Geronimo Allison's decent.
You know, they don't have good receivers. They have good young receivers, and Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is one of the best route runners in the NFL.
Yeah, that's not even
that guy is fucking insane.
He's a top 5 to 7 receiver in the league.
He's a top 5 if you ask me.
I could name more that I would rather have, but no, he's definitely up there, and you can't deny that. But he is terrible under pressure.
Yeah,
he is terrible under pressure situations to the point where he develops stone hands if it's an important part of the game.
He's like Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar has got good hands. He's a great route runner, but under pressure, he can't fucking catch.
Yeah.
Also, you need a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. Speaking of better quarterbacks,
he was the reason the Eagles made the playoffs this year.
Who, Carson?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
He played out of his mind.
Dude, Josh McCown played out of his mind in that game.
You see, he played with a fucking hamstring that was ripped off the bone.
Yeah,
that's insane.
And then they almost won that game too.
Dude's a beast. I love McCown. I loved when he was on the Bears just for the meme.
Oh, as of today's recording, Eli Manning announced that he will be retiring Friday. So 2 days before this comes out, Eli Manning will have retired officially. My mom tagged me in a post. She's like, I called this from the beginning of the season. I was like, yeah, so did 90% of all NFL fans.
It's not a surprise.
I was like, 99% of people were like, oh, Daniel Jones got drafted. Eli's done.
Yep. Everybody knew it was going to be 1, maybe 2 years. Yeah. Maybe 2. And just with how the season went, Eli had no point.
They just took Eli 2.0, really.
Yeah.
Except with better
Daniel
mobility.
I was going to say he's a little bit more athletic. Not a lot, actually. Because Eli, when he was younger, was fairly athletic.
Yeah.
At least mobile-wise.
But then Eli started to play like Peyton. Molded himself like Peyton.
And in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like in the worst way that he could have. I mean, Eli, if it wasn't for his 500 record, he would easily be recognized as a first ballot Hall of Famer by everybody, not just people who watch football and realize, hey, he is 7th all time in 2 of the biggest stats that you can have.
Yeah.
Like, you have your top 7.
He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot. Anyone who says otherwise is ignorant to the fact of he was one of the best quarterbacks of our era.
I saw this meme. It was like New York Giants hired Jason Garrett and Freddie Kitchens. Eli Manning. All right, I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wait, they hired.
Freddie Kitchens too.
Jesus. I mean, he wasn't a bad offensive or quarterback coach or offensive coordinator or whatever the hell he was in Cleveland. His team liked him. It's just that he wasn't a good head coach. It's like Jason Garrett. He was a great offensive coordinator when he was a coordinator for Dallas. Like he was really good at what he did. Just when he's a head coach, it didn't work. That's what happened with Freddie Kitchens.
He's gonna be hired. He's joining their staff as. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Well, what a way to end the episode. Welcome to the new year, guys. It was 2 weeks too late, but this is our second episode of the year. I think it's
2 years too
well.
late. You just said 2 years.
2 years too late. That's gonna be our motto now. We're 2 years too late to 2020. So yeah. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
I promised you it would be a longer episode this week, and it was.
Yeah. And to the audio listeners, this episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Yay. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.
What the fuck I tell y'all was gonna happen? I told y'all I was gonna fucking win guest of the year. Bro, fucking deal with it.